I'm very much an idiot.
Hey, you know what? It's 2 months till Halloween, so I feel like it's fitting.
You know what the best part is?
Yeah. just like what really happened to him, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Oh.
Oh, well, we are live.
I'm not breathing heavy
Good
because I'm
luck.
fat. It's just really hard to breathe in here.
Maybe because you
Yeah.
filled it with vape smoke?
Has nothing to do with it.
Okay.
Irrelevant.
Okay.
Is
Well,
my
we'll
hair
try it
looking
your
pink?
way.
Yeah. How's your y'all's week been?
It's been all right. Lots of sleepless nights, but other than that,
Yeah, I eventually got to sleep at night.
yeah, I eventually did too.
Been busy. We're trying to close out 3 houses and had a difficult NHO and had one homeowner decide a week before and without giving us the any time to try to correct any issues, just came into the NHO and was like, none of these issues are fixed yet. And we had just gotten the inspection report the Friday before. We showed on Monday. And
I feel like you're skipping ahead.
oh,
Those
yeah,
are the people that don't know how to house.
There's just people that don't know how to house.
there's plenty out there. Sorry, getting ahead of myself.
You didn't do any of your things.
Any of my things?
That's your job now, forever.
Did I distract
Yeah.
you?
I think you did. You completely threw his game off.
I mean, if you want, I could just sit him on like a shotgun barrel in the background.
That would make me.
Wait, hang on. I have a question. What'd you get from Taco Bell?
Crunchwrap Supreme
My man.
and water. Yeah. So backing up a little bit for all of the 2 of you that are watching.
Should have stuck it to the wall behind you with a knife.
That wall's plaster and concrete. I ain't gonna get a knife in there.
Should have stuck it to the wall behind you with a nail gun.
If I had one handy, I would.
Yeah. Well,
Modern problems require modern solutions.
for those of you that are out there watching this, feel free to share the video, like, subscribe, join the Facebook group.
That me and Nick's
is,
not a part of.
Yeah, none of us
Yep,
are a part of
none
it.
of us are part of it.
But it is monitored. We get told what's posted on there sometimes.
You can ask us questions. You will just not receive answers directly from us, but they will be answers from us.
Yeah, you know what? We should actually do that one live stream. Just kind of tee it up. Like, hey, the next live stream, if anything, ask some questions. We'll bring them up the next live stream.
We tried that once.
It worked out terribly.
We ended up talking about Hitler for 45 minutes.
Yes, we did. Anywho, moving on.
But anyway, get your friend to come back on and watch.
Yeah. So got the Facebook group.
You're not the wallpaper of the computer ain't the only thing you're stuck to.
Yeah. We plan on trying to get some contests and giveaways going once we get the viewer count up a little bit more. You can also follow us on the Twitter or the Instagram, and Twitter account is at RV and Tradesman, and Instagram is _TRDSMN.
I can't believe you don't have this memorized by now.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. It's been 2 weeks.
It's been 2 weeks.
You are practically the only one that says it, so.
Yeah. He's the only one that's good at it.
But yeah, so that's my little spiel. And I guess
okay, that's it. See you later.
All right.
Yep. Look, good show, guys. Everybody,
quick one. Our goal is under 5 minutes. We're at 4:38. We'll see everyone next week.
Oh, it should last longer than I do.
Huh. Nope.
It's twice as bright as our futures too.
Well, since I already did the spiel.
Yeah, my future's like this.
You're right. I would turn my light off, but I have to get up.
Yeah.
enough.
I turned my light off, but
You don't know how?
exactly.
Caleb, you're late.
Caleb, you're late.
I am.
You're late.
I'm late.
For what?
Fair enough.
That's going to be our next one. We're just going to do A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Yeah.
Tune in next
And,
time for Pulp Fiction.
Do I need to start farting into the microphone and saying, "Ow, that came out of my penis"?
Yes.
Fair enough.
All right.
Hey,
well,
I'm going to go use the outhouse, and if I happen to die out there, will you two do me a favor? Once, will you two switch seats?
Fuck off.
fair enough. So, am I doing the quote as well, or one of y'all want to?
Well, you said you had one.
All right. Well, I got a quote. Our quote this week. All our.
It's going to be an easy one for me and you, buddy. Just sit back. Here, watch this. I'm going to do that. Oh, now I can recline.
There you go. So the quote this week comes from old Winston Churchill himself,
I thought
and
it
it
was.
is
Thought it was Mr. T.
no. It attitude is the little thing that makes a big difference. So, for those of you that don't know, Winston Churchill was a prime minister of in Britain at the time. World War II was
Who
going
the
on.
fuck doesn't know who Winston Churchill is?
There's people out there.
That's true. I've recently found out there's a lot of people that don't know anything about World War II.
Yeah.
Did it
Which-
involve the world?
I think most of it.
In case y'all missed it, Nazis bad. Non-Nazi
Japanese
good.
people bad.
only for
Depending on who you ask.
Italians bad, then good.
bad then
Russians
good.
bad, then good.
Bad
everyone
then good
else
and
good.
bad. But anywho, yeah. So that's
Some
That's
of
it.
which are now
That's
good,
it.
and others are which are now bad.
precisely.
Yeah,
All
I've
right.
got a quick. Oh my god, this damn dog.
Bring him into the show, man.
Yeah, oh yeah. So why? So he can bark more into the microphone?
Yeah, you think you're getting distracted now?
Yeah, I was actually talking to a lady that works at the gym that I go to, and she is from Czech Republic. And I was talking to her, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm from the Czech Republic." She's like, "Most people don't know where it is." I was like, "Oh yeah." I was like, "It's right there by Poland and Germany and all that." And she was like, "Yeah." She was like, "A
Is
lot of
that the
people
one
don't."
with the? Is that the 11-foot pole one?
11-foot pole.
Remember, joke. The 11.
No.
Okay.
No, that lady's from Florida.
Yeah.
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 I know
Fair
which one you're talking about now. No, but I was talking to her, and she was like, "Yeah, a lot of people don't know where it's located and everything." I was like, "I don't know too much about Czech Republic." I was like, "I know it came out of the end of World War II and this and that, or end of World War One, and was like part of World War II and this and that, all these other things." She was like, "I run into so many people that don't even know what World War II was," and I was like, "The fuck has everybody been? What are they teaching people?"
Not
You
about
don't
World War II or World War One.
Like when you teach world history in school, I mean, I think if you have two wars that have world in the
Listen,
title
all we're talking about now is genders.
in history,
The
Yes.
history of how many genders there are.
I think we
There's-
solved that one like a really long time ago, like before we even had science.
No,
No,
not
Okay.
proven.
doesn't seem
Not
like it.
proven.
It's a myth.
It's a myth. It's a legend. It's Coca-Cola on crack.
It's a myth, like the female orgasm.
That's Coca-Cola
Exactly.
Zero, pal.
You put a little bit of cocaine in it, though, keeps you up all night.
Is it right up?
That's
This
all
This
is
is
I-
the damn caffeine in it.
Oh,
Yeah, just asked. What's his name? Hunter Thompson.
Yeah, right. I'm telling you, we're gonna do a Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
no, I don't think we are.
Yeah, I think we are.
Well, nobody invited you anyway, so
We need one of us to be a psychopath, though. Quick, somebody yawn. We'll figure out which one of us doesn't yawn. Actually, I think out of all of us, I'm the psychopath because you two seem to be pretty susceptible to the power of suggestion.
Sometimes, dependent.
I don't know. You can suggest me to be a psychopath, and I could probably accomplish it.
It's not that hard.
Don't think it works that way.
Try it.
Oh,
It's only one way to find out. And we're not consulting a psychiatrist.
Those people
Exactly.
are crazy.
Right?
takes crazy, no crazy, right?
You be quiet over there.
I feel like you would have to be crazy because you just hear all of everybody's crazy problems. How would you not eventually go crazy yourself?
Really though.
We've
Either that or
derailed.
You have to be extraordinarily high all the time.
I tell you, the best psychiatrists actually diagnose themselves as being bipolar schizophrenic because they have so many different personalities in their mind. And it's really just all their different clients that are fucked up.
Right?
Right?
It's like some sort of crazy, like Pavlov's dog syndrome.
Exactly. Something like that.
What's that one? They did it on House. The one with the, it's like mirroring or something.
Yeah.
Where whatever the dominant personality is, like that's the, in the room, that's the personality that they'll take on.
Yeah.
If you have a psychiatrist that has that disorder, everybody that comes in, like whatever disorder they have, they just start mirroring it back to them.
Yeah.
That might be really effective. The guy, the patient might eventually be like, "Man, I'm a real asshole to people."
Speaking of World War II, I had to pull some World War II style shit out.
Oh yeah. Nice. I've got an old K-bar, Army K-bar from one of my great uncles. He was actually going back. Y'all obviously know We Were Soldiers, that book and the movie and everything. I got a great. I mean, he's dead now, but I had a great uncle who was actually involved in that.
What was so great about him?
No, he was just old. He also fought during Vietnam, so.
Yeah,
well, we know how
lost
that worked out.
But anywho, yeah, I've got his K-bar. And,
Love how we both went with the same joke.
Yeah.
I like I always like the journalist in We Were Soldiers.
It's just casually taking pictures as people
as artillery's going overhead.
Yeah.
I like when all the other photographers land and everything, and he's standing there and he's like, "It's friendly."
Yeah. How can you tell?
He's like, "Well, it's got more of a high pitched whistle to it than him and Sam Elliott's character in that movie."
How do you know what kind of goddamn morning it is?
Yeah.
Beautiful day, isn't it, Sergeant Major? What are you, a fucking weatherman now?
He's like, "Don't you think you'll need one of those new M16s?" I think there'll be plenty of them on the ground for me to pick up should I need one.
Yeah. Actually met the photographer. Came to my college. It was pretty cool. Talked about it and everything. And he said that the Sergeant Major was every bit of it as Sam Elliott portrayed him in that movie.
I'm assuming you mean the actual photographer that was there.
Yeah.
Or the movie one.
Not the movie one. No,
not the guy that played Shifty Powers and Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
I thought that was Shaving Ryan's Privates.
That may be a different version of the same movie.
Gotcha.
Beaches were stormed.
Saving the privates for Ryan or from Ryan.
Cannons were fired.
There were explosions.
Yep.
So anyway, Hudson's got some stories to tell us or something.
Yeah. So asking how y'all's week's been. Mine's been a week from hell.
How do you open the front door?
I don't know.
You hold down the right analog stick and it kicks the door.
Sweet.
Happens. But yeah, so this week, so I was off for 2 weeks. My wife, I don't think it's ever been mentioned on the show before, but my wife, she was a surrogate for a family out in
I think
California.
you did briefly.
Yeah. So baby came, born healthy, all that good stuff. And while she was recovering everything from that,
Oh, not to interrupt. Everybody stay tuned till like all the way to the end of the show because Jay's got something he's going to announce.
Am I?
I thought
Yeah.
you were, unless he decides not to between now and then.
Yep.
Don't
It's if I
click
pay
off early
attention.
when you see us winding down.
but
That was
Yes.
weird to me not having pants.
so anyway, so my wife birth went well, family's happy, kids happy. They're back in California living it up. So I was off work 2 weeks, and as any of y'all know, if you're in a trade or kind of in my position where I'm more of like a project manager,
Reverse
but
cowgirl. Oh,
something like that.
No, that's just
Um,
how the surrogacy started.
ah,
Yeah. So you take any time off work, and work's always going to be there. Things are going to continue to progress, and when you come back to a shit show. Well, then I had a buddy up in Charlotte that got married the following week. The week
I
I
did
came
not.
back. No, it was another guy.
Not yet.
Oh.
We did.
But so I had 2 weeks off, came back for 3 days, and then off for 2 more days to be able to make it up to the wedding and stuff. But anyway, so work piled up. So last week I had to compile a 5-day work day into 3 days, plus make up for the 2 weeks I had off. Then when I came back this Monday, I had a lot of what we call NHOs, which stands for New Home Homeowner Orientation, or New Home Orientation. And what that is because I'm in residential construction, build houses, stuff like that. The NHO is where I meet with the buyer or the potential buyer who's wanting to buy this home. They come in, and I meet with them, introduce myself. I'm like, hey, I'm Caleb. I'm the project manager that made sure that the trades did what they're supposed to get your house to the state. There's probably some imperfections. Today, I'm going to go over basic functions of your house, and then I got a sheet of paper. We'll write down a list of items that you want to have us adjust or correct or benefit. A lot of homeowners with new construction, they like to have a home inspector come in. They send us the inspection report, yada, yada, yada. We look at the inspection report. We go through, take care of it, right? So I had 4 of them this week coming back. And let's see. So while I was gone on Friday, we had the NHO that I did on Monday, the potential buyers. What they did is they had a inspection done. They sent us the inspection report. The inspection was done Thursday. We got the report Friday afternoon. The 2 guys that were covering my schedules for me went ahead and sent the inspection report out to all the trades like, hey, come into the house, tidy up your shit. So all the trades came in with the exception of like 2. There are a total of 7 items that we need to fix. And the 2 guys that were helping me out, they called in a lot of favors, and the trades that came out, they had 5 of the 7 items fixed before Monday. Monday comes in, rained all weekend, all this other stuff, just had sod laid. They hadn't had a chance to roll it yet. Well, the homeowners or the buyers admitted that they came out on Sunday and walked around the house and taped up stuff that they found wrong with it. So anyways, the introduction into the homeowner orientation went a little bit like this. I'm there getting ready to go into it. And I'm like, hey, I'm Caleb. This is, I'm your builder. This is,
going into
What are we
it
gonna do today?
implies that you can go out of it.
yeah. And the male, or, it's a husband-wife couple. The husband's like,
The male.
it's like, hi, this is who I am. I demand that all these items be corrected before we close next Monday. And I looked at him like, okay, I understand that. We'll get to that in a minute. First off, you don't make demands. Like, I understand we got the inspection report. We already have 70% of it complete. The rest of it's going to be done by Wednesday. He then looks at his wife and's like, oh, apparently they're going to have all this stuff that's wrong with the house done by Wednesday. I just don't see it. And I looked at him like, well, after I do my little spiel, my introduction, we'll
You
sit down.
suggest opening his eyes, maybe seeing an optometrist for a pair of glasses?
Presuming that he's
And so I started into my little spiel.
They're practically Chinese, my dear.
Yeah. So I started into my little spiel, and I told him like, hey, we're going to talk about this, and this, and I start talking about the warranty and everything like that, and whatnot. And I'm like, and we'll go over where the shutoff is, the breaker, all that stuff that's out in the garage and everything. Well, as soon as I said garage, this is like still within the first 5 minutes of them coming into the orientation. The wife chimes in. It's like, and I don't know if y'all have done any installs on like new builds or anything like that, but
Never.
a lot of builders, and Nick, I know you know this up around that area, a lot of garages are unfinished,
Don't tell me what the fuck I know and don't know.
Yeah. I'm sure, Jay, you've seen it too. But anyways, my company and all the other builders around here, new construction, we do not finish garages. Some companies, their base plans, they include a garage door opener and garage door. My company does not. For whatever reason, the contractors we're contracted with that install the garage doors, they're like, hey, if the buyer selects it through you because there's extra liability and we have to warrant it and cover it even further, it's going to be an upcharge, and they charge like twice as much as what it would cost to go to Lowe's, get your own garage door, and either install it yourself or have somebody from Lowe's install it.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Is the outlet there for the garage door?
Yeah. So
the electricians pre-wire it.
Yeah, it's pre-wired and everything,
Okay.
ready to go. All you have to do is just find whatever brand you want
Yeah.
and install it.
And then just basically plug it in.
Yeah, and the reason my company does this, because I had asked them, like, I think that's a little funky, and they're like, it is, but the reason being is because when they were building houses before, it always came up like the homeowner, and it's like, and this is the garage, garage door and everything. They come in, they see the brand, they're like, oh, I don't like that brand. I want something else. They're like, well, you can go to the store and buy your own effing brand. So to eliminate that and to help save the homeowner some costs, we're like, hey, it's an upgrade option. We will provide it and install it, but you have to pay like twice as much as what you could pay at Lowe's and stuff like that. So anyways, a lot of homeowners aren't upset with that. Anywho, so mention the
Tell them
garage.
to go on the internet. They got some wild shit on that internet.
Yeah. So the wife, as soon as I mentioned the garage, she's like, when are y'all going to paint the garage and install the garage door opener? And I looked at her because there's a garage door. You just have to manually open and close it. And I look at her. I'm like, well, ma'am, it's an unfinished garage, so it doesn't get painted. Once you move in, you can paint it whatever color you want and finish it out however you want. And the garage door opener, you can get whichever one you want. Anywho, as soon as I said that, she's like, oh, no, we're not buying this house. We're not going to sign. Granted, we still have a whole week before we even get to the closing date. And these people have already signed a contract stating that they're going to buy this house. Already put a down payment, all this other stuff on. Just freaking loses it. Then she just storms off. I'm like, okay, whatever. Look at her husband. I'm like, hey, do you still want to go through the orientation? I'm like, we just touched it. I'm like, are y'all completely done? Because if you're completely done, I don't want to waste your time. Like, let's just, he's like, no, we'll keep going through it. I'm like, okay. So I started going through it some more. She comes storming back in and she's like, I want to adjust the flame on the fireplace. I'm like, well, I don't think it's adjustable. I think it's a preset design. They already have it preset to allow so much gas because they don't want people to mess with it, adjust it, or burn down their house. And she's like, I don't like that. I'm like, well, we can take a look, see if there's a nozzle.
Is it a ventless fireplace?
It's fanless. It just triples.
Yeah, but does it have a vent out of the house?
Yeah, it's got the vent out of the house.
Well, turn it up to 100.
Yeah. But yeah, so I told him, like, well, we'll take the screen off. I'm like, down here, this is where the regulator is. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure you can pop that tab off and just use a flathead screwdriver to adjust it. And
fuck it, turn it up to 11.
Yeah. And the husband was like, well, he's like, and she's like, well, how do you do that? I'm like, literally how I just told you. And I'm like, but, don't quote me 100%. I'm like, give me some time. We got a week. Let me reach out to the manufacturer and the installer. And I'll let you know if this model can be adjusted or not. And the husband's like, oh, that's okay. I see there's a manual in the, because I put all the manual, like owner manuals for like the appliances, fireplace, anything that's inside the house, microwave, dishwasher, oven, range. I put all the owner manuals in one drawer. He's like, oh, I think I saw it in the drawer over there that you showed us. I'm like, okay. He's like, I'll just look at it later. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. And then she storms off again. Him and I start walking through the house, and I'm like, hey, this is what this switch does. This is what that switch does. This is how you operate this. She comes back inside and starts yelling at her husband's like, step outside with me right now. Like we need to talk. Just and grabs him in the middle of orientation, walks right out. So I just stop, and I can hear her from out there. She's like, I'm not buying this house. Like, we shouldn't have to do anything ourselves. They're not going to paint the garage. We don't need to buy our own garage door, blah, 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 blah. Like, we're not signing. So they come back in. She's like, I'll be out in the car. So she goes out to the car, and I look at him. I'm like, you know, are we good, or what's going on now? He's like, oh yeah, let's go do some. He's like, no, I think we're good. I'm like, okay. And so I have the blue and green tape. I'm like, hey, you want to, go find some drywall and paint touch-ups, walk through the house, and I'll make a list. And I have my notepad going through, putting tape on the wall for drywall and paint imperfections that I see. He's not doing anything. He's just moping around with a piece of tape. And we get around, and he keeps saying, well, we taped it up pretty good yesterday. And I'm like, all right, well, if you're satisfied with that, we'll just call it a wrap. Have a nice day. Nice to meet you. I'll see you next Monday. And next thing I know, he goes down, and I hear her say, yeah, we're not buying this house. Okay, so I let the salesperson know, and they said that they're going down there. And I let the sales office know. I'm like, hey, just be prepared. This homeowner kept saying they're not going to buy the house. They're coming down. So they go cancel the contract, and then pretty much said that they wanted their down payment and everything like that. Well, in the contract, it states that if you terminate the contract without allowing us at minimum a week to remedy any issues that you have on an inspection report or that you find on the day of the NHO, you don't get your deposit back, and like basically you're canceling the contract, so you don't get your money back. Whatever you put down on the house, you don't get it back. And anywho, one thing led to the other, and they got real pissy and contacted their attorney. Their attorney sends, a letter and the reason for it. And one of the reasons, I read through the entire email, like their list of demands and reasons for canceling the contract and wanting to get all their money back. And one of them was like, your builder during orientation said that there's owner manuals and didn't fully explain all the functions of all the appliances in the house. We as homeowners should not be required to have to read to know how to operate our appliances in our new home. And I'm just like, okay, obviously you've never owned a home before, even though this was like their fifth new build that they've done. And so that was that. Well, next thing I know, I get all these phone calls, all these texts, all these emails from the senior PM in my neighborhood, the other builder in my neighborhood, the sales agent, our area construction manager, the division president, or the division vice president, the division president, the VP of sales, our corporate attorney, and our CEO of construction, all basically like, what the fuck did you do today? Like, what the fuck did you do? Why'd they cancel after they had NHO with you? And my response was, they were in the house for 15 minutes. They walked out on me because that's what they did. I explained stuff. They asked me questions. I explained it to them. And come to find out, I mean, as soon as they walked in, I just had that feeling that they just weren't into it and they were just there because it was on their schedule. And then the stuff that they were getting hung up on, everything was cosmetic in the house. And I'm like, I can have all this done before next Monday. It's not a huge deal. Take a breath. And talking with the sales agent they told me that all they did the whole time they were talking about the house and options and, hey, if you want an upgrade option, now's the time to do it before we sign this contract. And they're like, no, we like the house how it is. Well, after they sign everything, they're like, oh, by the way, we want you to change this room layout, move this item here, turn the kitchen instead of its orientation over this way. Basically wanted us to go through a spec home and remodel the whole thing. And obviously our response was, no, we're not going to do that. Well, the wife kept saying, well, my house down in my other house in this other city was like that. My house in this other city was like that. Our previous builder was willing to do that. Well, their previous builder, when they built, was a privately owned and like full custom homeowner, or home builder. Basically, like they had exterior elevations, but like you would sit down with them and they would design and lay out the interior of your house with how the house looked. It's like, hey, this is square footage. This is the box. How do you want each room to lay out? And we're like, well, we're not that kind of builder. And you came in and you wanted to have a move-in ready home, and you said you wanted a finished home, because that's what our spec homes are. They're already finished and they're move-in ready. Like all you have to do literally is just go in and put all the bills and utilities in your name, and you're off and running. But that's how I start off my Monday. After that, all the other NHOs went well. It's just pretty busy running back and forth between home and get my daughter from school and whatnot. But
If you're hiring, Caleb is looking for a job.
no, they assure me that I still have a job
Until they find somebody better.
Yeah. So, anywho, what about y'all? Y'all got any good stories?
Not really.
No, I mean, nothing that would not bash a particular manufacturer.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, other news. The other day,
I do have that one about that coil.
Yeah.
I mean, are we going to mention names or are we going to forgo that?
I don't know. I feel like we should, because
feel
they
like
really
we-
need
I
to
feel
fix
like
their
on-
packaging.
I feel like on both of our parts it is kind of required.
But I also feel like they probably have better lawyers than we do.
Precisely.
Yeah.
But,
So a particular company that sounds like Steam manufactures HVAC equipment, makes pretty solid furnaces, but as far as as I've experienced anyway, but their air conditioners are absolute piles of steaming shit.
They're tough little things, but they just do everything so weird.
The new ones aren't even tough anymore, really. They're not.
So they're just weird.
They're just weird. They're just different and not good any way, shape, or form. Pretty much. I was just at a particular house today where, like, these people built a new home and let's see, 2015, I believe it was. I think that's what she said. And so I mean, the unit's being serialized from 2014. I mean, that happens,
Yeah.
So, nothing big deal there, but so the unit
That wasn't. No, that was a different one. That was
this is the ones that kind of look like the same kind that Caleb has. That manufacturer.
no.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. I mentioned this before the show.
Yeah.
But,
I was thinking of that other one you did the leak on.
oh,
That was
that
was
that's
an
one that's
Ameristar or
that's a
something.
good story, actually. I'll have to tell that too. It's a much shorter version, but so they bought their house, had it built and everything, and I mean, not within probably, like, let's see, I don't know when exactly they built it, but I'm guessing they probably, like, got it later in the year, more towards heating season, because she said, like, less than a year later it was low on refrigerant. I'm like, okay, well, maybe they just didn't quite get the charge balance in the wintertime or something like that. Whatever.
Because it happens.
Did
It
you
does
say maybe they just didn't queef get the refrigerant charge? You were
Yes.
going to say queef.
I was not, but okay. Anywho,
He wasn't, but you did.
yeah.
Well, damn right I did.
But I'm like, okay, but then they're like, then the very next year, same thing again, and I think it happened like every year all the way up until 2019
It's not
When-
suspicious.
when it completely like blew everything up, like 100%. It was gone, and so my company found that it was the evaporator coil, and at that time, it was right on the cusp of being under warranty. Like it had like maybe 2 or 3 months left in it, which still it's under warranty. It's under warranty. Because it being an unregistered product, so they only got 5 years.
Mm.
It's
So
from the date of manufacture. So since it was serialized in 2014, that would be 2019.
exactly. So we're talking. I think it must have been like. I don't remember the exact dates, but it probably.
Is this the one you needed the ladder for?
No, that's a different one.
Okay.
This was the very last one I was at. The one I told you when I was just sitting outside.
Yeah.
That's the one in which you called me and I had to hang up real fast because she was sitting downstairs and I was upstairs.
She's like, that boy was on his phone the whole time he was here.
She was a pretty nice lady, good sport. But so
when you two get married,
2019, it completely blows everything out.
Yeah.
It's the evaporator coil. It's under warranty. Like I said, still probably between.
that
2 to 3
statement
months.
has more than one meaning.
Yes, and not only like what is it a shame that this happened in the first place, but okay, things happen. It's under warranty. Fine, we'll just change it out. Be done with it. The problem is the manufacturer tried to give them a runaround for 4 months to avoid replacing it under warranty. They didn't want to do it, and they had to have like specific pictures. They wanted videos of where it was and proof of this and that, and they went through all this crazy bullshit just to be assholes. So
Which is kind of stupid anyway, because it was documented before the warranty ran out anyway.
right. I could see if it was like we're trying to squeeze this out a month afterwards, and we're trying to say it happened 2 months before or something.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
So then they go through all that. So then, okay, everything works fine for like a year, 2 years maybe. Then all of a sudden, come back. Here we are at it again. Small leak somewhere. The warranty was out. The leak wasn't that extensive at the time, and costs for things were a little bit lower than they are now. So that the customer said, okay, we'll just charge it for now, and then we'll see what we're going to do here, see how long we get out of it, maybe. So then I come out there today, and she says, yeah, it was running, and then she's like, it stopped cooling, and she's like, it was just running and running and running, and all the temperature did was climb. So she's like, I shut it off. How'd you guys come on? I'm like, okay.
Tell her to get out there and chase it down.
Yeah. So
she was sweaty from running.
Right?
I mean, I was sweaty because it got up to like 88. So
Yeah.
Think of the calories she burned, though.
yeah.
But you did get a cum out there.
So we turn it on, just because I'm like, well, I'm going to make sure the blower's going upstairs, and make sure that the filter's good, stuff like that. So
Was it
go
going
upstairs, and I walk in, and it literally sounds like you're filling a tire with an air compressor. That loud hiss, which Nick will know what I'm talking about on thermostatic expansion valves.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, well, I looked at Tony, who was helping me, and I said, we have a leaker. I said, there's no liquid in there whatsoever. He's like, how do you know? I was like, you hear that sound?
Angles, man.
I was like, that's the valve just pushing nothing but gas. And so I go outside, just for proof and verification, check the charge. Sure enough, I mean, it's practically nothing left. a lot of what it's probably compressing might even be air at this point. Probably not considering where the leak was, but who knows? I was never the one performing work on it before, so I don't know the practices that were performed.
Not well.
Yeah, probably not. Anyway,
You could say they were performance issues.
there were. So the system holds 7.5 pounds, not including the line set, and the line set runs up through the wall, across the ceiling, in the second floor. So it's kind of long. So we're probably pushing the 8 pound mark. Depending. I didn't do the calculations because I don't know exactly how long the line set was, but
I just did a little quick math here, just
Yeah.
for everybody out there. For every one technician that takes this job seriously and does their best to do a good job, there's 4.5 that don't.
I think we were figuring that out pretty well this week.
Yeah.
So, I tell the lady, I'm like, well, look, this is what it is. Let me back up a little bit. I got a little ahead of myself. So I go upstairs and, so I'm just opening up the coil just to see the condition of it. Now, this was replaced in 2019. I don't know.
Was
what
it pregnant?
originally. Yes.
Shit.
And I don't know what it was in 2019 or not 20, before 2019.
Too young.
I know now it's aluminum. And I told Tony, I said, shut up a second. It's like, what? I'm like, listen. And you can hear it bubbling. And I'm like, you hear that? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, so it's a TXV. So let's see, that one had 6 distribution tubes off of it. 3 ran off and go to this side, and 3 loop around and go to the other side. And they're aluminum tubes, obviously. And they have this little vinyl sleeve over them, which,
Is it the vinyl or is it the heat shrink stuff?
no, it was vinyl because it was literally
Yep, I know. It's the condensate tubing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's literally what they slid over. So I'm like,
Yep.
Okay, whatever. I'm actually glad it was there because it amplified the sound so I could hear the fucking leak. So I'm like,
At least
well,
they do something.
Yeah, they do something obviously because it doesn't prevent leaks.
Yeah, it's
so-
rare and far between, but
I
that's something, right?
I just sliced
It's
it
better
back.
than the one that I had.
I sliced it back a little bit just so I could, make sure it was there and, maybe just not somewhere nearby. That's just the way I was hearing it. But I rubbed my finger across it. I found where it was. So I'm like,
The
so
world's greatest detective right there,
sure.
rubbing your finger across.
I'm a lot
shit.
better than some other people that work with me that we won't discuss at this particular time. Nick knows the story I'm talking about.
I do. It's gotten so bad, we have code names for people.
Professor Compressor.
Captain Clean
Clean
Coil.
Uh,
Hell, we had another one. What was the third one?
Dr. Drainline.
Dr. Drainline.
Anyway,
Mr. Maintenance.
Mr. Maintenance. Welding aluminum shut is not impossible by any means. The problem is where it was. It practically sits on the bottom of the drain pan of this coil. So it would be cutting that coil up, pulling it out, trying to flex that aluminum line up and out of the drain pan so I don't burn the drain pan because I can't even get a torch in there in the first place. And then
Take the drain pan off.
hoping it wouldn't have worked. There was just no room for me to work in there. It's a broom closet.
Just cut a hole in the drain pan.
Yeah.
Then
I
the
would have
refrigerant leak is solved.
I would have melted the drain pan. But
But it wouldn't be leaking refrigerant.
it might have. I don't know.
Maybe. It is aluminum.
It is aluminum.
You have to get the oil off it, which
There was a lot of oil in there. The
Yeah.
only moisture in that drain pan was oil.
oil.
Paul?
So the big
Texas
thing
tea.
was I told her I was like, we could try it. I was like, I just don't know how well it's going to work realistically. I just don't know. I don't even know the nature of whether it's just a crack, a pinhole, what I don't know because I can't see it. It's just in a very small space, and it's a very small line as it is. And
You're familiar with small stuff, aren't you?
yes, and the last time I tried to weld one of those shut, it ended up snapping off over at the TXV anyway. So they're like right where that they're tied into those caps that screw onto the valve. And that's what I was worried about, is if I flex it too much and it cracks there, then I'm pretty much fucked. So I gave her the price. I'm like, look, this is just to recharge it. I was like, no, there's pretty much no refrigerant in the system, and I can hear this leak with my bare ears. I literally don't have to use a piece of vinyl tubing or a leak detector or anything like that. I could physically just hear it as soon as I took the door off.
Which is probably 75% of leaks if you are just go in with a flashlight and some soap bubbles you can find.
I know. We've been down this route.
I know.
But so
it's just annoying.
This is just what it is for refrigerant. And being 8 pounds roughly of R410A, it's threw me a lot of money, and I was like, it's probably going to be gone within a day, if that, given what we're at.
You'd be lucky if I get out of your driveway.
Yeah, and I was like, now doing it is probably just repairing it is probably too much of a shot in the dark. It's just probably going to be more than it's worth to do it, in my opinion. I was like, I will gladly try to do it for you. I was like, I just don't have faith that it's going to work out very well. It's going to be a lot of work to get it into a position where I can do it. And then if it still doesn't take at that point, then it was a waste. And I was like calling the company. I was like, I could call them. I would have to get a price from them on what the coil costs and its availability, because I can't guarantee availability on anything other than what I know my company has in stock. And that is not a manufacturer in which we deal with, so we do not have. So
you'd have to order.
She was like, you know what? She was like, that is the third evaporator since 2014 we have had up there, because they continuously just leak all the time. They just, it leaks. So, and she's like, you know what? She's like, honestly, she's like, I know you're not BSing me. She's like, because my neighbors had the same problem. They went through it a bunch of times. You guys installed a unit in my sister-in-law's house because she had the same thing, and it did it time and time and time. So she's like, I know this is something with them, and it's something we had heard when we bought the house, but there was nothing we could really do at that point anyway, because the house was already built and sitting there and the equipment was already in. So, damn you. If you guys know who I'm talking about, God damn them. It felt bad for the lady a little bit, because
damn that rap music.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Because, this lady actually does have a legitimate reason she can't be without air conditioning. She has MS. And so the heat is extraordinarily cruel to her.
Yeah.
And so, luckily for her, I just got all the parts moving so everybody could get in there, get everything set up for the install of the new unit as quick as possible. We got some portable air conditioners in there for her for the rooms that she's going to be in, so she can try to remain as comfortable as possible, given her health condition and stuff like that. So, yeah. So I installed those units. Nick knows when I'm talking about. In those apartments, at that time, I could just see, the overwhelming quality of things.
Was it that apartment complex or no?
No, this was like a housing complex.
Oh, okay. Because I know those had like 2.5 inches of static pressure on them.
Hey, some of them had 0.9. Okay.
Okay.
Gee, splitting hairs, guys. Splitting hairs.
Real.
But so yeah, I mean, I could go over the story, I guess, from yesterday. Had a little bit of difficulty with somebody, and rightfully so on her part. Truthfully, she's got a little bit of a reason to be concerned.
Yeah, she's married to you. Oh wait, not that. Not
not that one.
Oh, sorry. Shit.
Yeah. Minor character. Anyway,
she is a minor character.
Yeah, but So I go out to her house just because it's a no cooling call, and I actually have a second call on me for her house just for the preventative maintenance checkup for the upcoming
Speaking
winter.
of her, I love how none of our women actually watch the show.
Useless.
Probably for the better.
I don't know how we managed to get all three of them.
I don't know, but so
Mine
I'm
has
like, okay,
asked. Mine has
I'm
asked,
just-
like, no, you won't like what we discussed. It's boring.
yeah, really. So
She's a minor character in the story.
I go into the service system that we use, which is Service Titan, and start looking at the history, and immediately I just see the overwhelming job that was done on there. I mean, it was just a fucking bang up job. It was a condenser, just sat in the yard. No
I'm
pattern
sensing
of
some
it.
sarcasm.
Yeah, they just sat it in the grass, didn't insulate the suction line for the first like 12 feet, and
Is that important?
and mounted the disconnect to like that cheap lattice shit that people put like around the bottom of their decks and stuff so animals don't go in. So
Dude, that stuff's so secure to mount to. I see that dumb shit on some of our stuff, but sorry.
that's okay.
Dude, I've seen that before too, and like have ripped those things off the fucking lattice trying to get the things out. I'm like, shit.
The only saving grace was the I forget who makes the disconnect, but it's you know which one I'm talking about, Nick. They're like the big plastic ones that have the door that opens from left to right, and the disconnect handle has like the 4 prongs instead of the 2 gay ass blades that go in. Like
Midwest.
Is that who it is?
I
So
believe
those
so.
ones are pretty good about not sticking into there. So had that going for us. So anyway, find the system.
I think they're also the one that makes the one when you open it up, it's got like the real wide. It's probably 3/4 of an inch wide, and it's like the switch that goes left and right.
Yes, I think they do make those as well.
Yeah.
I think you're right on that. I think they look exactly the same too. It's just
Yep.
you open it up and it's a switch. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. So I check it out. Sure. So I check it out. Low on charge.
Good
So
pep talk, coach.
yeah. I mean, when I walked up and had the unit running, and I just walked up and looked at it, I knew there was a leak. Because Nick will tell you this, there's a difference between seeing a little bit of oil spray on the lines from taking gauges on and off. Sometimes you'll see that, but I'm talking like an entire 2-foot section of the line that is soaked in oil. I'm like, I know there's a leak there. And so I inform them of that, give them a couple different leak search options, stuff like that. And so we went through with it, got my big blue. It took me about half an hour, so it took me a little longer to find it, even though it was just a braze joint, but it was really damn small. Like I had to sit there and focus on my mirror for a couple minutes for it to start shooting bubbles out. And so I knew that's where it was, so gave them the quote and everything to do it, and she said, okay, signed it. Then after that, she was pretty apprehensive. She's like, the one thing I have is like, she's like, I can't understand why I paid for a maintenance agreement and had somebody come check it, but now I got to pay for this big repair. And it's one of those things where I don't know what was seen when the previous inspection was done, because there wasn't a lot of pictures of it. There was 5 pictures of the whole thing. So there was all these things being discussed as okay, but there was never any photographic evidence proving such. So I can't speak for it. I just know who I'm speaking about, and he's generally pretty lost, to say the least, because the last time he was there, he quoted a chemical cleaning or a condenser fan motor and a compressor assist kit for a unit that was running fine and on a microchannel system in which you cannot coil clean.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine, just like pumping it down.
It's fine.
But
Sounds like that person's name should be Mr. Where's Waldo.
I haven't come up with a name for that yet, because there's so many things I can't like pinpoint it to one. So
DeWalt.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, does he use DeWalt?
I don't know. Well, I'm not sure. I'll
Find out
find
and
out
report
actually.
back.
I'm gonna report back after this week about that. But so I mean, she was a little apprehensive about it, and I get why, because she just paid a bunch of money to join the maintenance agreement like 2 months ago, and then now she's like, I have this huge repair bill. So I just kind of gave her the analogy of which some states don't require, but ours does. Requires yearly inspection on vehicles and stickers proving such on the windshield. So, I'm like, well, it's a lot like when you get the car inspected yearly. You take it there. There could be nothing wrong. Everything could be fine. You get your sticker and you're on your way, but you hit a pothole 3 months later and snap a tie rod or something. It's not the mechanic's fault. So, you take it back, you're going to have to pay for it. Same scenario. And a lot of times with cars like that, it's something that people can relate to a lot easier than trying to explain to them the situation outside. And so it definitely didn't go as planned for me, because I'm like, I even asked Nick, I'm like, can you really pump down a micro channel? And he's like, honestly, I don't know. And turns out not recommended by pretty much anybody. So
Yeah.
Took a little longer than I wanted it to, but it was actually just more or less just a lot of prep work. But it was, to do it right. Take the time to recover all the refrigerant, take the time to make sure I get the cores out, purge with nitrogen while the brazing is going on, check the joint once I'm done visually, and then let everything cool down, get the high side Schrader core back in, do a tightness test on it, pressurize it, let it go for a while, see if it drops. I think, what did I lose, Nick? 7/10 or 8/10 of a PSI? Not even a full one. Something like that. So, okay, that's good. That passes with flying colors, realistically. I forget what the tolerance is, but I don't know.
All the tolerance.
Yes. Then take the time, do a vacuum, do the decay on that. Rose from 250 to like 600 or something. So that's permissible.
Nice.
And then take the time to charge it back up, with 410A is a little bit more painful than other particular refrigerants that some particular organization who used to watch us deems as bad.
EPA?
Yes, EPA.
EPA.
They're not with us anymore. I don't know why.
I don't know what happened to EPA.
Did Nick ever tell you that a few months ago I was behind a commercial HVAC truck, and they had cans of that particular refrigerant just like thrown on top of a pile of like a whole bunch of shit, and they were going down this back road, and it's just like bumping the hell.
Oh yeah, I see people do it all the time. I will have shit piled in my van like when I'm busy, but it's more or less just garbage and shit. Yeah. Never are my refrigerant tanks or my torches or my nitrogen cylinder rolling around, because those are all.
Oh no, this one was just thrown on top of it, and hopefully it was empty. But looking at it and the fact that it still had like a sealed box, I'm pretty sure it was completely full.
Some people charge.
Some guys like to leave them in the box.
Yeah, I'm not one of those people, because I have a rack.
It doesn't fit on your refrigerant rack that way.
Yeah, but some people do like to leave them that way, because some people will just like kind of sit them in the corner and then bungee them while they're in the box if they don't have a rack. But I prefer the rack.
Yeah,
gotcha.
I used to have to bungee them in the back of my truck when I worked for the company that did construction, because we'd go out and start up like 10 split systems or something, and you need like 6 jugs. And
yeah, I had a company who, like, their idea of a refrigeration rack was a 5-gallon bucket in the back with a bungee around it. I'm like,
I've done that before too.
I was like, it works.
It works
until I break the bucket from taking the jug in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out.
I did that at one company. They just gave us pickup trucks, and that's how I kept my refrigerant from rolling around. Worked great until the winter when it rained and the bucket froze and like split in half. And I was like, well, I guess that's the end of that one.
Should we do the quick Professor Compressor story?
We're coming up on an hour. How quick can you do it?
Very fast.
Okay.
He got the nickname Professor Compressor because he goes to change a compressor on a unit that is 2 years old and is under a parts and labor warranty. So, in order for us to process that, it has to be proven that every proper procedure was followed. He openly states he has no interest in seeing why it failed and didn't even change the filter dryer. So, hence, he is now Professor Compressor. And the other reason we made jokes about him earlier is because he went to a particular house and did a leak search for 4 hours and never found anything. And the system went flat within like a week. And I went back out and found all 4 leaks in 20 minutes.
Nice.
That's the story on Professor Compressor.
Yeah.
Excellent workmanship.
Because
right
Train's not going to care under a parts and labor warranty how you do it, right?
No.
Train, if you ever decide to watch.
What's that
chime in.
compressor cost? Probably $700.
Man, shit. And then the labor.
I'm
'Cause
talking like what does it cost Train is probably like $700.
Yeah. And then
You
there-
know, they don't care.
I don't know how the labor part of that works out. I don't know if it's something that our company just does or if it's something we have worked out with Train too. I don't know. It's not my role to know.
Yeah. They're not. I don't know that it's done by Train anymore. I think it's done by like an insurance company.
I was
or
gonna say I
something.
think it's done by like another party, but I think
It's a
like
third party thing now.
I know it's something typically you can add, but I think it's just factored into our price all the time, so that way it's just done. I think you can subtract it if people are looking for ways to, save a few
Yeah,
dollars.
sometimes you get a landlord or something there.
Yeah, but
Or
most
somebody's
people
only
are-
going to be there for like 2 years, and they're like, "Oh, it's got a dead compressor. We're going to sell the house in 2 years. We don't want the parts and labor."
But most people are pretty happy to have that type of warranty because they're like, "Oh, great! I don't have to worry about anything."
Yeah, if you're going to stay there more than 5 years,
Yeah, and especially be covered on both for 10.
yeah.
Good stuff.
Nice.
Okay,
So
Well,
is that it? Did we do it?
should we do what?
I said, did we do it?
Do what?
kept
The
it
show?
close to an hour.
Oh yeah, we're an hour 20, so we're good. Or,
No, an hour
yeah,
2.
Hour 2. What did I say? 20. I was looking at the seconds.
My man.
My man.
Well,
That's
speaking
not
of
the
my man,
line from Training Day that he says. That's the gift
It
you
is
can
not.
find of it online.
I could tell you right now, it rhymes with my liver.
Yeah.
Anywho, let's end on a different note. Take it away, Jay.
What am I supposed to say?
Whatever you want. It's your thing.
My wife's baking a loaf of bread.
And on that note, join us next time.
For
Bye.
clarification.
Yeah, right.
Or figure it out on your own.
Figure it out.
Figure it out.
Pitter patter.
I'm going
Put
to
your
have a
finger out of
child
your ass.
because I feel like somebody's going to get really confused by it. So there.
Okay. All 3 people know now.
All
Right.
3.
I'm pretty sure the other viewer already knows.
The other. I think we know who the other viewer is.
Exactly.
Communists aren't people.
Damn it, DeWalt.